It's time for my Wonderfest edition of Hot Off the Bench. Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to another Hot Off the Bench. This is my Wonderfest 2022 video here for you. The convention was just last weekend and had a great time, as always. If you get a chance to ever get to Wonderfest, I'd highly recommend it. It is a one-of-a-kind show. So I want to get you caught up on a few things here before you get started. First of all, I wanted to let you know that my entries to the show did get recognized, actually. Two of them won a bronze award. That's the Mr. Freeze figure and the Khan bust. And then the anime figure, the Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop and the Seaview, both won awards of merit. And I was excited to also see that Fine Scale Modeler recognized two of my models and that they wanted to photograph and did photograph the Mr. Freeze figure and the Faye Valentine figure. So I was really happy about that. So hopefully we'll see them up on their website sometime in the near future. Okay, the other few things I wanted to share with you are some purchases I made there. The first of which is a new airbrush. I decided to stop by Tag Team Hobbies booth, and they sell Iwata products, and I've been wanting to replace my airbrush for some time for a number of reasons, and I won't go too much into that at this point. I'll do a video on this later, but I decided on the Iwata Eclipse, so I'm excited to use that. Also stopped by the Cult TV Man booth there and talked with Steve from Cult TV Man, always a great guy to chat with, and I purchased the 1/1000 scale Voyager model that has been out now for about a year, I think, and it comes in both a clear version and the regular styrene version, which I chose to buy. So Cult TV Man always has a lot of great offerings there. He had quite a bit there at the show to sell, so I'm a huge fan of his, so culttvman.com, the link is below for that. And also stopped by Blackheart Models to purchase some new figures from their micro bust line. Here's a close-up view of them. I got a Telosian, got Ruck from What Little Girls Are Made Of, and Captain Pike as he appeared in the original series. And as I said, had a great time meeting up with friends. One night I had the opportunity to have dinner with Lou Dalmaso and Ken Spriggs, along with a couple new guys that I've met here. They're also YouTubers, Phil Segal from Spruverse and Wayne from World of Wayne, both very popular YouTube channels. And we all went out to a barbecue restaurant called Mama's Mustard and Pickles. They actually do make their own mustard and pickles there, or at least they pickle their pickles. But really great restaurant, wonderful barbecue. If you ever get a chance to be out in Louisville, I'd highly recommend them. But a great time hanging out with those guys for sure. And speaking of friends, and here are some shots of some subscribers here, by the way, who came up to say hi. I always do appreciate that you do that. It really is a pleasure to meet you guys in person and, of course, to make new friends. And also got to meet up with this gentleman, John Eves, who is famous for designing the Enterprise E, as well as a number of other Star Trek related ships and designs there. He's currently working on some of the new shows. And then also got to meet up with Darren Doctorman from the Inglorious Trexperts podcast. He gave me the certificate for being an honorary Trexpert here. But he's also famous, and I also wanted to thank him for his work on the latest release of Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Cut. He had a big hand in putting that together. If you haven't seen it, pretty amazing how they've remastered a lot of it and added some new effects. Highly recommend that. Okay, it's time to get the video started, but before I do so, one quick apology ahead of time. I had arranged these short interviews to do, to insert into my video this time around that I thought you guys would enjoy. To do those interviews, I intended on bringing my handheld mic. Unfortunately, I left it at home, so I was dependent on the other mic that I hook up to my camera here for the interviews, and sad to say the audio isn't as good as I wanted it to be. The ones that take place in the room aren't so bad, but the last one I did with Ken Spriggs, there's a lot of background noise, so I wanted just to apologize ahead of time for that. Alright, let's go ahead and get started, and I hope you enjoy the video. Well, hey guys, and welcome back to another Mediocre Modeler. It is June 4th of 2022. That means it's day one of Wonderfest here in Louisville. I am at the True Hotel. It's TRU. It's a Hilton property right across the parking lot there from the Crown. And so what I'm getting ready to do here is to take my models over to the show to get them registered for the model show there. I've got the registration sheets filled out here, and I'm happy to say all the models made it. I inspected them yesterday when I got in, so no problems there. And so while I'm getting ready to do that, I'm going to show you a short interview I did with Gordon Moriguchi, and he is from Space 1999 Props and Ships, and him and Todd Morton both bring some of their Eagles and Space 1999 tanks every year to share with members of that Facebook page and other modelers. So last night I was able to head over to their rooms and and was able to see what they brought this year. And they brought, at least Gordon brought, an 88-inch Eagle. It's quite impressive. So while I'm getting ready to head over to the ground, let's go ahead and have you take a look at that short interview I did with him and a look at some of those beautiful models they brought this year. Who I have here is Gordon Moriguchi. I've been wanting to have on the channel for quite some time, so welcome to Interstellar Modeler.
Thank you.
And Gordon is a big Space 1999 enthusiast every year. Him and Todd Morton bring a portion of their collection here to share with other modelers, and this year's no exception. He's definitely brought a special piece, which I'll show you here shortly. But real quickly, so Gordon, big Space 1999 enthusiast ever since day one?
Yeah, ever since day one. Mom was reading the TV guide, and we watched it WEAR TV3 in Pensacola when I was 9 years old, and been sucked in ever since.
Yeah. And so you have quite a collection of Eagles and Space 1999 ships. How many would you say you have in your collection?
Well, let's see. 22, 23-inch builds. I have 11 of those. I have 3, soon to be 4, 44-inch Eagles in different forms, and then now I have recently acquired probably a one-of-a-kind 88-inch Eagle lab pod with the spine booster total build, built by Andrew Grimshaw out of the UK.
Let's go ahead and take a look. So this thing, I bet the camera's not even capturing. You can't even appreciate the size of this on camera. But tell us a little bit about this Eagle here.
So Andrew had been building on this ever since 2015, and he originally had it displayed over at Andercon 2015 in its partially built form. There was so much more work to be done to it, but it was the first time anybody got to see an 88-inch build.
Wow.
Unless Bill George from Science Fiction Air Show had put out his 88. I don't know who put out theirs first, but Bill George, he put out a transporter build, and this is the lab pod with spine booster total build. Like I said, it's one of a kind. The framework is carbon fiber. I think most of the Eagle itself is made of this special fiber board or foam board or whatever. My slogan is I don't build, I buy. So
Yeah.
The opportunity came along to where he wanted to sell it, and I purchased it.
Absolutely.
So we have a little bit of repair work going on in the back. But it's coming along pretty well. But yeah, one of a kind, absolute amazing work of art.
Oh, great.
So I'm proud to have her in my collection.
And here's a closer look at some of the other models that were on display. Included are these variations of the Eagle Command module. The larger is a commission build from Martin Bauer, and the smaller is a 1/48 scale that Gordon acquired from a collector in the UK. Next is this interesting Eagle kit bash that is known as the Kestrel. This one was built by Roger Ashton from the UK. The original Kestrel concept and build was a cover magazine feature for Sci-Fi and Fantasy Modeler back in 2015. This one incorporated the classic 12-inch Eagle, and it's beautifully done and quite impressive in person. And this beautiful rendering of the Hawk is a 31-inch studio scale replica, which was really intended to be a Rogue Studios prototype, but was never produced after losing the license. It was built by Bim Pamiroyan out in California. And here we see a variety of tanks, and were built by a fellow named Bill Early. The set is 1/35th in scale and was scratch built by him. Gordon acquired them from someone's collection and said they were not quite exactly canon, but nonetheless they are very nice models of the tanks. And this flatbed tank is from a Jim Small 1/24 scale kit and was built by Jeffrey Wargo. This one in particular is from Todd Morton's collection. And finally, Gordon was displaying some samples of some upcoming merchandise from the website 1612. They're soon to be available and will no doubt be highly sought after. Just check out the Eagle and Launchpad set, which will have sounds, lights, and a working docking tube. Along with this, they will be offering other in-scale Eagles as well. More info can be found at their website, which I've included a link to below. Well, thanks for sharing with us, and I'll take a look more video of the rest of his collection here. So.
Thank you so much. All right, you too.
Okay, and back to the show. Here's a look at the line of modelers as they wait to register and place their models into the showroom. As you can see, there were quite a few. And while waiting in line, you get to see all of the interesting entries. For example, let's take a look at these dinosaur models built and painted by a gentleman who was just ahead of us in line. All right, guys. Well, here we have. We're standing in line here, getting ready to register our models here, and I have Lou. And what caught my eye is he's got these beautiful. Well, he's got a dinosaur and.
This is a Kentrosaurus and Platybelodon. So,
can you tell us a little bit about these?
it comes off of the elephant line. It's a prehistoric elephant that didn't make it past whatever, and he's got an unusual lower jaw. I think he probably used that to pull out. Geez, I don't know what. And it's just really weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And these are both resin.
Yeah, both resin. Yeah, and then I added the great bircher, just twigs that I painted, and added my own little extras to the base. But it's painted with an airbrush.
Nice.
So,
yeah, you know, until I came to Wonderfest, I didn't realize that painting dinosaurs was even a thing. But they're beautifully done, and you did a really nice job with these. So you're entering both of these into the show.
Yeah, I got two more. I got to go upstairs and get them. I have two. Yeah, I have two hands on me.
Okay, looks like the line's moving. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So check-in was pretty quick and straightforward, and it was just a matter of waiting until the vendor room opened. Across from the vendor room is this other room, which has displays, additional vendors, and tables where you can meet artists like designers John Eves and Rick Sternbach. In the past 2 years I've been to this show, they've also had some unique models on exhibit, and this year was no exception. Let's take a look. And I happened to bump into this guy. Okay guys, well the vendor room is officially open here, so I'm going to walk around and show you guys what is here. There's some really cool looking stuff, so let's go and take a look. So as usual, there's lots and lots to browse through, and it all comes down to what catches your eye and your wallet. For me, I bought the latest sculpts from Blackheart Models, and here I am pictured with George from Blackheart. And the Lost in Space enthusiasts were there as in previous years. And to finish off our quick look at the vendor room, here are some exciting announcements from round 2. Now it's time for another brief interview, and I thought I'd provide a little introduction for you here since many of you are probably not familiar with him. He calls himself the Mediocre Modeler. He's a gentleman who reached out to me after Wonderfest last year, and he mentioned that he had wished that we had a chance to meet up because he was a fan of the channel. And so after which I decided to check out his channel because I wasn't familiar with him, and his name in particular intrigued me. And I quickly found to enjoy his videos. He has a styling that's just a little bit different than other YouTubers. He has a great personality, a really nice guy, really comes through in his videos, and after you're done watching him you feel like you really hung out with this guy, and over a period of time you feel like you really get to know him. He works on a variety of projects, as you can see here are some pictures, many of which are related to his cosplaying. He's a fan of the old Battlestar Galactica series, as well as Star Wars and many others. He also scratch builds a lot of his projects and does model building as well and combines the two. This year he's entered a replica of the Tesla gun from Warehouse 13. So let's go and take a few minutes to hang out with the Mediocre Modeler, whose work is really exceptional rather than mediocre. Who we have here is Kelvin from Mediocre Modeler. He's a fellow YouTuber, and I got to know him over the last year. And he's got, if you're not familiar with his channel, I'd highly recommend it. So Kelvin, welcome to Interstellar Modeling. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time. What made you come up with the channel, and what inspired you, I guess I should say?
Well, I think it was more a matter of partially being here at Wonderfest, coming here and seeing other people's models.
Yes.
And that's such an inspiration. You know, this is where I kind of recharge my batteries.
Absolutely.
But even on top of that, I'm going to be building models anyway. You know, we're so used to building in a vacuum, and I wanted other people's opinions the rest of the year around. And I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could get on and you know, and that took a long time. After that first video, and I'm sure you had the same experience, you get it set out, and then you sat on it, and you waited to see, okay, am I going to do this?
Yeah.
You get it posted, and then you're like, okay, I'm out there.
Yeah, right. Is anyone to watch?
Right.
right.
And I think that's the other part of it. I mean, if you're going for the clicks or whatever, that kind of changes the way you approach doing your channel or whatever. And not that I enjoy the clicks. I like seeing that other people like seeing, but I'm building anyway. And why not share that? And it was like, oh, this is how I came about it. Yeah. Because I'm always seeing, even looking at your channel, like, wow, I never would have thought to do it that way.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
absolutely.
So that's kind of where I got started.
Yeah, and the model building community is just fantastic, filled with fantastic people, right?
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And that's the one beauty of YouTube for me, is really being able to meet people. You know, even if I don't meet them in person, I've gotten to know people, you know, through the YouTube channel and through my Facebook pages, and I've gotten acquainted with people from all over. I mean, literally, just all over.
That's the part that kills you if you kind of look at your analytics or whatever. And I'm like, why is this guy from Brazil watching me?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell me now, you've been building models ever since you were a little kid. And I was going to ask you the same thing. So what the first model I think I ever built was, I want to say it was a free model from Fine Scale Modeler. And I think it's like the first model was free, and then you paid the subscription. I think it was like a Jaguar. Yeah. You know, and I can remember getting that, and it was horrible. You're a little kid, and just and you put it together. Exactly.
But you know, that's about the time, you know, Star Wars coming out. And even at that point, seeing the Star Wars and seeing the models coming out, the first sci-fi model I really kind of coveted was the Battlestar Galactica Viper, because I remember seeing that box on the shelf. Yeah. And so that was the thing, you know, just in the little square test store model paints, and you know, that was the beginning. Yeah,
great. And your channel now, you also do scratch building, then, right?
Yes. And, no, the scratch building that came about because the industry is kind of finite, you know. I mean, it's not like boats and planes and cars where you just got all this endless number of things you can do. Yeah. You've got this little finite thing that you can do, and so just to expand beyond that, well, they don't make that model kit. Well, I guess can I make it myself?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's a trial error, and so every time you do it, you're like, okay, that worked on this one. Let's keep it moving. Let's try something different. Right. And let's reach out and see if anyone else has a better idea.
Great. Well, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it. And guys, I would highly recommend Mediocre Modeler. I'll put the link down below. And I also enjoy your cosplay as well. You'll see a few pictures of him in his outfit that he chose for this year. So thanks for being on. Appreciate it. Thanks. All right. Well, here's what you've been waiting for, my slideshow from the model room. I captured quite a few, but there was definitely much more. So here are some highlights for you. I've grouped them into small figures, unique exhibits, ships, busts, and larger figures. I'll let the work speak for itself. Enjoy! We have Ken Spriggs here, who's going to talk a little bit about his Aries. So Ken, welcome back to Interstellar Modeler.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they did a fantastic job on the Aries. So tell me a little bit about what you felt the challenges were with the model. Certainly it's one of your favorite ships from the movie, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, obviously a lot of moving parts on it. The landing legs are retractable and movable, so quite a bit to do with those, and a lot of things could not be glued when you're building it. The interior, one of the biggest challenges was, and Ludom also had the same issue, when you put that top on, it seems to fit fine while you're building it, but then at the end, it just will not seat right.
Yeah.
So I had to put some stripping around it, put some strong magnets to hold it down. Quite a bit of lights obviously in it to light it up.
And you mentioned to me one of the things you wanted to do is to make it self-contained.
Yes.
So you didn't have to plug it into anything. And so you did that with that compartment that just fits a 9-volt battery in.
Well, it occurred to me that the most obvious point of entry for any battery was the crew hatch. And so I cut off the rest of it that would glue in, and I put magnets in so it's removable.
Yeah.
And there's tons of room inside the model.
Yeah.
But the battery's got to go through that tiny little hatch, which is only about maybe an inch wide and maybe an inch and a half tall. So I played with initially some 3-volt batteries that are rechargeable, but ended up finding from Evan Designs these longer AA battery holders that are lengthwise instead of next to each other.
Very cool.
So 2 of those were able to fit in there nicely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, one of the challenges was I commissioned you to do the fantastic painting, which I really love.
Thank you.
But I didn't have the painting.
Yeah.
I set the dimensions of it. And I wasn't getting it until yesterday when we came to Wonderfest. So I had to build my base with it in mind, and I bought a blank canvas the same size just to get the measurements right and get it all right so it would work. And it all worked out fantastically.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and tell us a little bit about then the base itself was made with air dry clay. Is that right?
Yes. Well, the base is mostly wood. It's a 1 foot by 2 foot. I think it's oak or pine plank. It's maybe a ½ an inch thick. And then I put another piece on the back to angle it up, some side pieces, and then I put the air dry clay on. Well, first I embedded a brass rod tube into it to put it onto, and then I used the air dry clay. Once that was done, then I just did various airbrushing with some Vallejo colors. Actually, I got a whole set of them, Vallejo air colors, at the IPMS convention earlier this year.
Cool.
And it just perfectly had a bunch of different grays and concrete and things like that.
All right. Well, congratulations on the beautiful thing.
Thanks.
It really turned out great. Thanks,
I
man.
appreciate it. Thank you for partnering with me on the painting, because I think that really adds the creativity and the beauty of it. So really happy
It was
with
a pleasure. Everything turned out great.
Thanks.
So as always, a lot of beautiful and inspiring work there on display. If you think it looks impressive on camera, believe me, it's even more so in person. So if you ever get a chance to make it to Wonderfest, would highly recommend it. One piece that did stand out to me was that one that was of the Mr. Peabody Parade. This is an animated series, if you're not familiar with it, was often shown with the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. Many know of that one. But the end of each parade, it always included that little guy, you know, sweeping at the end. And when I walked up to the piece, I recognized the characters at the beginning, and as I went down the table, I realized it was the entire parade down to that little guy sweeping at the end. So I thought that was genius. It did win a gold medal. By the way, speaking of awards, I don't know too much about any other awards that were given, so if you want to check up on that, I'm sure Wonderfest will have it on their website eventually. The awards show did not take place this year. The way that we found out was similar to what happened last year, in that little notation was left on those description sheets next to the model on Sunday morning as we were let into the exhibit. So hopefully they'll bring back the awards ceremony. I'm sure they postponed it again simply because of the COVID situation, and hopefully everything will be much more settled next year. One other thing I wanted to share with you, just some quick pictures of some cosplay. Each year that I go back, there seems to be a little bit more of that going on. So something you don't see every day, an R2 unit and a B9 robot next to each other. And then you'll see more Star Wars cosplay there along with the robots in this picture. So lots of fun stuff. Okay guys, well that is a wrap for this video. I hope you enjoyed this look at Wonderfest 2022. One other thing I wanted to share with you here, you know, the Mediocre Modeler, well, I've always said his work isn't so mediocre. Take a look at this. He actually won the Wonderfest Best Prop Award for 2022 for his replica of the Tesla gun from Warehouse 13. So a big congratulations to him for that, and also wanted to share with you this replica that he made and gifted me. And you are a major Battlestar Galactica nerd if you can recognize this. This is a replica of those magnetic explosive charges they used to show on the original series of Battlestar Galactica. Whenever they wanted to blow up anything, they would just stick this onto whatever it is they were blowing up and run. So they used this on Ice Planet Zero, I believe, as well as the episode Hand of God when they were blowing up the interior of the base star. So thank you, Kelvin, for this. I really do appreciate it. It's going to make a nice addition to my collection. All right, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me here on my YouTube channel or at dinosaurs@gmail.com. I will see you then in the next video when I begin the build of the USS Grissom. Take care.